All right, we've got another session with Andy from Swell Building Inspections. We're going to answer some questions and look at some interesting inspection reports. Are you ready, Andy?
Yeah, ready to go, Jordan. What do you got for me?
All right, let's see what we've got on the Reddit line. Building and Pest report findings. This is from Is Not Petrol. And they have said, we got our building and pest back from our property purchase and are a bit worried about some of the findings observed during the B&P inspections. We're unsure how serious some of these are based on the photos we got. We're super stressed now at the possibility of making a mistake. It seems like they've already made a purchase. And one of the things they're most concerned about is the rising damp potential. What do you think?
Yeah, I had a quick look at that report that they've got there. The first thing that I would note is if a client of a building inspector is concerned and unsure, it's probably a good indicator that their building inspector hasn't had a phone conversation with them after giving them a report.
True.
This happens all the time. We hear it all the time from people that have used other services. And I don't believe it's good enough. I don't want to be a downer on other building inspection companies per se, but one of the things that we are very much high on our priority list is clear communication, not just in our report, but having a follow-up conversation with people, because people can see minor defects in a report, like some of the things that are in this report, and they can freak out thinking that, oh no, we've entered into a contract on a property that's going to fall over, and all it is a couple of really minor things that can be fixed up pretty easily. So it's really important that when you're booking a pre-purchase building inspection, that you have a conversation with the inspector or the company that you're dealing with and saying, hey, am I going to be able to have a conversation with the inspector afterwards? If the answer is no, don't use them. You should have full access to them until you understand the report, and that's what our policy is at Swell, is that you have access to us until you understand the report. So I'll start off with that.
Yeah, that's right.
But going on specifically on this report, Jordan, that you've pulled out of Reddit here, I can see from the photos and some of the report that they've put up there as images, looks as though there's a little bit of moisture ingress through the tiled roof. It looks like there's some cracking in the mortar and pointing of the capping along the ridges of the and the hips of the roof there. I did see there might have been a bit of moisture ingress in that could be causing a bit of moisture in one of the ceilings as well.
Right.
This isn't a major structural thing, like this isn't going to immediately make your roof collapse, but it is it would be deemed a bit more like a maintenance item. It's something that you need to upkeep. It's like exterior painting, it's something you have to regularly check. And if you're not upkeeping something like this, it's going to turn out like this pointing work, and it's going to get cracks in it, and it may cause water to come into the roof space. So at the stage that those photos look like they're at, I would suggest that that's a minor defect that needs to be fixed up to stop any moisture getting into the roof. And that mortar around the capping, it's referred to as pointing. It's a specialty job for a tile roofer or a roofing contractor who specializes in that to come and fix that up. I would suggest using a specialist for that sort of thing. The rising damp on one of the other pages there was another picture. Again, there was a note in there about it being the recommending further investigation. Again, I can't see the property. I haven't been to this property. So yes, it might be a rising damp issue. And if it is, they should have an assessment done by a rising damp specialist. Again, it's not something that's going to cause a house to fall over immediately. And it doesn't look like this house is particularly old. But again, on the outside, like it looks like it's a garage. it could be a garage wall maybe, with it being exposed brick like that on the inside, and the concrete floor. I would suggest that maybe there might be some soil or some garden that's on the outside of that wall that's up against the wall that shouldn't be. That could be causing the damp and the salt coming through. Or it could be rising damp like they've suggested in the report. So again, without me seeing the property, it's a bit hard, but yeah, definitely could be a rising damp specialty situation where you want to get a separate assessment.
Yeah.
Not a major structural concern at the stage that it looks like it's at. And there was some moisture around the outside of the shower.
Yeah, we go.
So there's different types of showers. This is an enclosed, it would be classed as an enclosed shower, and it's actually one that has a pre-formed base. So it's not a tiled shower floor. Generally, when you're getting moisture on the outside of these particular types of showers, it's to do, or 9 times out of 10, it's to do with the sealant around the floor and wall junctions not being in good condition. This is a minor defect that can be easily fixed by having the sealant in your shower area replaced, and then assessing whether the moisture is still coming out once you've done that. We have had many situations in inspections where this has been left too long, and it has caused more issues. Like when we've looked underneath the shower, we've got rotting substrate and mold and things like that. I could see from the photos, it didn't look like there was any damage to the wall lining. It just had a high moisture reading from what I could read. Looks like it might be a sealant thing that they need to be. Again, it's a specialty thing. There are people that drive around, that's all they do is resealing showers. So it's worth getting into.
It's not going to break the bank in a big way.
No, it's not going to break the bank. I mean, it will vary in price. It would depend on the company and the type of shower you've got, and whether there's any grouting that needs to be fixed up as well, and what type of reseal you're having done. Sometimes they'll put a sealant on the grout as well to help make it even more water resistant. But if you're just getting the sealant replaced, it might be $300, maybe up to $500, depending on who you're using. But again, based on what I could see from the limited amount on what they've put up there, it doesn't look like that house is going to fall over. They are not major defects. Another thing I would say, and just reiterating what I said at the start, having a building inspector that can clearly communicate to you the defects they've found is so important, not only in the report, but to have a conversation with them afterwards. I can see from that report, I don't know who that company was. I didn't even read it, but I didn't read who the company was. I couldn't see it, but it didn't look very clear. It looked like a fair bit of jargon going on there that didn't make it very clear. There was a lot of, I guess, pre-made comments that have just been chucked into a table that I could see on one of those photos.
No plain English.
A lot of that's just the way that it was put together, it looked really confusing even to me, and I'm a building inspector. So, if you can have a building report that's clearly laid out room to room, element to element, and it's clearly pointing out where the defects are and what type of defect it is, and it's written in a way that your average Joe can read it and understand it, that's going to go a long way to helping. And another thing that we do on top of that is to add, recommendations of how to repair these defects. And if it's a defect that's affecting the structure or affecting the serviceability of a property, it's going to have an estimated cost associated with it as well. So it's worth checking with your building inspector if they give you estimated costs as well, because it can, particularly in Tasmania where I am, the purchasing contracts have defects costs associated with the purchasing contract. So if the defects go over that limit, then you have the option of pulling out of the contract. So,
well, Andy, I love all of those tips. Got a little bit more of a picture on what to do in that situation and not to panic. Hopefully,
yeah,
that's
don't panic. And
good
I mean, bring your
naughty
building inspector.
yeah,
Give them a call. Like if you're panicking, maybe have a conversation with your inspector.
anxiety there.
Yeah.
Would you? How much do you like? If you were to give us a guess, like to give us a guess on how much would that person be looking to pay to make those fixes?
Oh, look.
And let's assume it's not like a major dent issue. Like it's just
Well, look, if that rising dent issue, if it was only the resealing the shower and getting some pointing on the tiled roof fixed up, which looked like it was fairly minimum, like it didn't look like they needed the whole roof repointed. But again, I haven't seen it in real life. I mean, it might be $1,500 worth of fixing things up, which if you're buying a $700,000 to $900,000 property, $1,500 ain't a lot of money.
Yeah, drop in the bucket.
You know, and if you're not budgeting that into having a property, then you're not doing your due diligence in the first place, because it's like a house it's no different to owning a vehicle. You got to do maintenance. If you're not upkeeping your building, it's going to start falling apart. Just like if you didn't get your car service, it will fall apart. So
yeah, for sure.
something you need to factor into when you're owning a property is that you're actually upkeeping it. So
yeah. Alrighty, well there you go, $1,500. not
I'm gonna get snared, but someone's gonna jump in.
Yeah, assuming the caveat is assuming that moisture is not a big issue. Needs someone to have a bit of a check.
Someone's going to jump in the comments and have a
yeah. Oh, you said oh.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Caveat, disclaimer, guys. Disclaimer. This was a low ball estimate, assuming best case scenario.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks so much, Andy. We'll see you on the next one. And if you're listening to this and you have a question for Andy, just chuck it in the comment section and we'd be keen to get into it next week. Thanks, Andy.
Cheers.